The Goldie Gossip Podcast. Step to the throne.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Goldie Gossip Podcast. I'm your host, Goldie Himalaya. That's right. And this is a very special broadcast that I want to do for you guys. But before we get into that, let's go get into some Goldie Gossip obituaries. Now, I hate it, guys, when we have to do this, but it is a public service, and you guys need to know, what's going on in the culture. So this week, we lost somebody very special. His name is Robert Blake. That's right, Robert Blake. Now, for you millennials who may not know who Robert Blake is, you can Google it. Robert Blake, when I was growing up, was one of the original members of the Little Rascals. I remember all of you boomers gotta remember the Little Rascals. He was the youngest member of the Little Rascals, and his name was Bobby. Some of you guys may remember Buckwheat and Spanky and the rest of the crew. Buckwheat was very famous. Eddie Murphy portrayed Buckwheat in the early days of Saturday Night Live. But anyways, Robert Blake passed away here recently from a heart attack, from heart failure here in Los Angeles. And later on in his career, we knew him as Beretta. And he used to always say it, he says, if you can't do the crime, don't do the time. I'm gonna bust you. I'm gonna nail you. And you can take that to the bank. Yep, that was Beretta. He was a bad boy. And then later on, he was, he was acquitted of killing his wife, Bonnie Lee Blakely. She was really shady. She was on the internet milking men for money, and she was trying to milk him for money too. But anyways, they were in Studio City in a place called Vitello's, or some Italian restaurant, which was the last place they were together, and which is where they found her dead. But anyways, he was acquitted, and I want to give a rest in peace to Robert Blake, aka Beretta. All right, guys, let's get out of the Goldie Gossip obituaries and let's get into the story. Now, I want to tell you guys about the trip that changed my life. It changed my life. I was in Detroit, and I'm gonna take you back. I'm gonna take you way back. That's right. in 1978, I'm running a paint company. My boy Marshall, I know you're gonna watch this. Marshall was one of my employees. I started my own paint company, and I was painting daily. And at night, we had our bands called Tailor Made, and we would rehearse during the week and gig on the weekends. And it was a really, really tight group. But anyways, I'm gonna get on with the story. I'm painting by day and I'm singing by night. And my sister, rest in peace, Francine Scott. I miss you, Fran. Oh, sorry about that. I miss you, Fran. Rest in peace, baby. Anyways, I'm living with her on Archdale and James' cousin in Detroit. And my sister decided to go out to a lounge. Now, this lounge is called Henry's Lounge. It's on Finkel. For those of you who don't know, Finkel is 5 Mile in Detroit. And the name of the club is called Henry's Lounge. Till this day, Henry's Lounge is in the same location, to my knowledge. I don't know if they've shut down or if they're still going. But anyways, in those days, Henry's Lounge was the home of the Manhattans. You can Google it. The Manhattans was a popular R&B group in the 70s, and they were kicking ass. They were touring. They were one of the largest R&B groups. Google it, the Manhattans. Anyways, my sister goes out to Henry's Lounge to watch the Manhattans, and she meets a gentleman by the name of Don Williams. This gentleman is the gentleman that changed my life. If it wouldn't have been for Don, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. My sister hooked up with Don that night, and he spent the night. I got off of work the next day. I still had my paint clothes on. And in the driveway was a roadie truck. And what I mean by a roadie truck is an official truck that loads up big time stars and travel them around the country. I wasn't on that caliber, and I had never seen a roadie truck. That piqued my curiosity, and I went into my sister's house, and I could hear somebody playing my guitar. Yeah, that's right. Back in those days, I played acoustic guitar, but I was just playing chords. You know, I could play a little bit. But this dude, he was tearing that guitar up. He was tearing it up. I said, damn, who is this? So my sister introduced me to Don Williams, and he was telling me that he was a road manager for Tower of Power and Lenny Williams. Listen to me, guys. In those days, I have heard so many stories of what people can do for you and who they are. I wasn't having it. I've been let down 1,000 times. So I'm from the school that show me what you can do. So he gave me and my girl at the time, Vashay Broughton. Right now she's Vashay White. She's on Facebook. He gave us backstage passes to the Masonic Temple. You can Google the Masonic Temple. Big venue in Detroit. big venue, seat 5,000 people or more. So it's a big deal. He gave us backstage passes to the Masonic Temple for that weekend. So me and my girl Vashay went down to the Masonic Temple. We went there. When we went there, they took us straight back to the backstage because we had the backstage passes. So I said, okay, this is really piquing my interest. Now, Don wasn't just one of the roadies. He was in charge of the whole road crew from city to city. So I said, okay, now he piquing my interest. Guys, I got a chance to meet Roberta Flack. She was a bitch. I'll get back to that. There was Phyllis Hyman on the show. We got a chance to meet Phyllis Hyman. There was an R&B singer back in those days. His name is Peebo Bryson. If you don't know about Peebo Bryson, Google it. He has a brother named David Bryson. I think it's David Bryson. I may be wrong, but anyways, he was a very nice guy. He was very welcomed. Phyllis Hyman was really, really nice to us. It was just a wonderful backstage, my first backstage experience on a major concert. But Roberta Flack, when she saw us, and we walked past her dressing room, and we're excited, we're fanning out. She looked at us like we were shit, and she slammed her door and said, "Get those people out of my place." In case you guys don't know who Roberta Flack is, you can Google her. She made the song "Swapping My Face with the Fingers," "Filling My Life with His Words," "Filling Me Soft with His Song," "Filling Me Softly with His Song." Yeah, it was cool. But anyways, she treated us like shit. After she slammed her door, she had her limo driver pull the limo up to the side of the venue, and she jumped in her limo and she split. But that's enough for her. So, after this experience, I knew that he was the real deal. And I knew that this may be the only opportunity to really grab onto something that's going to take me to the level that I wanted to be, which is now. He said he had 2 more months on tour with Tower of Power and Lenny Williams. He said when he got off a tour, he was going to be to LA, and he wanted me to come to LA. And I said, that's it. That is it. This is my opportunity. If I don't take this opportunity, I ain't gonna never be shit. And I had to get out of those crabs in a barrel in Detroit. If I would have stayed in Detroit, the crabs in the barrel would have pulled me down, and I never would have made it to what you see today. So, me and Vashay, I wanted to take my girl with me. I didn't want to go by myself. I tried to swing for the flight tickets, for the free, for the flight tickets. They wasn't going for it. They wouldn't send us the tickets. So I said, plan B. We got 2 one-way tickets on the Greyhound bus from Detroit to LA. Now I gotta get back on this. This was the worst and the best experience of my life. We paid $91 a piece for that one-way ticket. And listen to me, peeps. We took 5 or 6 different buses, transferring from one bus to the other bus, from another bus to another one. It was a nightmare. And you gotta keep in mind that this is the summer of '79, and it's hot. The Greyhound bus had air conditioning, but it wasn't working, and we were sweating it. Now, the beautiful thing about this is our exodus on that bus from Detroit to LA. We had to stop in many cities, and now that I look back on it, those were my only opportunities to be able to see the country. Every time we would stop at a place, we'd have a layover of a couple of hours, and we would get out and go to the local places nearby so that we could experience the city. And we went to city after city after city, and it was beautiful. I will never forget the different places that we visited and the views that we saw from those cities that I will probably never see again. So we made it to LA, and back then the Greyhound bus was on Los Angeles and Broadway in Skid Row. And when I mean Skid Row, I mean Skid Row. As soon as you got off the bus, you could smell the urine on the streets. But I was still glad. I was still glad to be there. Sorry about that, guys. I was still glad to be there. We got there and we went, and Don was disappointed with me because I didn't come by myself. I brought my girl with me, and it was the greatest decision I could have ever made because 2 paychecks is better than 1. So we got there, and he lived in a really nice area off of La Cienega. La Cienega divides the east from the west, going into the better neighborhoods. As soon as you pass La Cienega going west, you're in Brentwood, you're in Bel Air, the beginnings of the Hollywood Hills. And the police don't, you know what? I've already done a podcast on West Hollywood and how they treat you once you get in their neighborhoods. I'm not gonna go there. But anyways, Don's father gave us 1 week, and then we had to get out. When we got out, we checked into, I will never forget it, the La Cienega Motel on La Cienega and 18th. I was good with that. It was a motel, and we were paying $105 a week. I still got the key to that motel room. It's in my stash somewhere, but I still got the key. Room 105. But anyways, it was easy to get Bud then because Bud was still on the streets. We just went around in the alley, and all of the Mexicans had all of they were selling joints, they were selling bags, and we were new in town, so I didn't have a lot of money to spend. But anyways, we had to figure out how to get an income. There was a Yum Yum Donuts right across the street from our motel, and Vache was able to get a job at that motel. I'm sorry, at Yum Yum Donuts. She got that job at Yum Yum Donuts, and that was enough money to pay our bill. And then I got a job. I got a job at a place called Guard Systems. They were paying me $3.90 an hour, but it was a job. So she had a job, and I had my job. We were making it work. So when I got to LA, we went to band practice. I met all my band members. My bass player, Randall. We had a shitty drummer. His name was Jesse. We ended up replacing him with a cat by the name of Ron Christian. But anyways, When I got there, I have a partner from Detroit. His name is Ivory Joe Baker. He was my choreographer, and he was the guy who got me on with the harmonies, with the background harmonies, getting them tight. He had already come out to California in '75. So keep in mind, he'd been out here about 4 years. I'm figuring my dog is doing good. I got to town, we went to our rehearsals. When I got off rehearsals, I say, I gotta hook up with my boy Joe. I had an address in the projects in South Central. I was scared as hell, dog. I don't like messing around in South Central. And I didn't have a car. I caught the bus. So I caught the bus to these projects where Joe told me he was living at. When I got there, I could hear outside the door, they were singing a cappella. They were singing the same songs that we used to sing back in Detroit, and I knew I was in the right place. So I knocked on the door. Hey guys, back then they called me Mike Neal. He said, Mike, I'm Mike Neal from Detroit. I didn't even have to say no more. Let me get some water, hold up. I didn't even have to say no more. They said, man, we know exactly who you is. You Mike Neal from Detroit. And they said, man, all Joe do is talk about you. All he talk about is Mike Neal. I said, well, I'm here. Where's Joe? They said he's on his way. And they made me feel friendly. I wasn't so scared then, because South Central got a terrible reputation. So anyways, they brought me in and they started doing choreography and singing a cappella. They were singing the same songs that we used to sing back in Detroit. But these cats was bad. Their harmonies were so tight. And they had a gay guy as the lead singer, but this motherfucker could sing. I mean, whoa. They were doing their steps and they were singing while I was waiting for Joe. And at some point, they were doing the same steps that me and Joe created. Me and Joe created all of this choreography. He came to LA and taught it to them. Them niggas started doing choreography and I knew the steps. I jumped up, I got in line with them, and I was doing the steps. And they said, damn nigga, how you know these steps? I said, nigga, the shit he taught y'all, we created back in Detroit. So everybody was all excited and everything. They gave me little festivities, a beer, you know, a joint, whatever. And then one of the cats say, here come Joe. Man, I ran out to the balcony and I looked over the balcony and I said, nigga, bring your ass up here. Bring your ass up here, nigga. And when he saw me, he rolled on the ground and he was screaming. My boy Mike. He ran upstairs. We hugged and shit, and we started just reminiscing and talking. And here's the effed up part. My buddy from Detroit, Ivory Joe Baker, takes me to the store. He said, come on, man, let's go to the store. We're going to get some more festivities. When we got in the car, he handed me a joint. Or so I thought it was a joint. I got in the car, he handed it to me, and I hit it. It wasn't a joint. It was PCP. I couldn't take it back because I had already inhaled it. And when it hit my head, I went into the twilight zone. I went all the way to the twilight zone. I was freaking out here. I said, what is this? What is this? What's wrong? I was hallucinating and I can remember. I opened up the car door and I leaned out and I threw up bile. Bile is this yellow stuff that coats the lining of your stomach, but it's bitter. All I could remember was opening up the car door and throwing the bile up and remembering how bitter it was. The next thing I know, he took me back to the apartment, put me in somebody's bed, and I slept it off for a few hours. Nigga, when I woke up, I'm telling you, when I woke up, I was so angry. I told him, Joe, what the hell did you give me? Why would you give me something that I don't know what it is? And he was all laughing and shit like it was funny. It wasn't funny. I said, nigga, take me home. I went back to the hotel, and it even got worse. This nigga picked my girl up from work to take her back to the hotel with me. On the way home, he's driving, my girl is in the middle, and his wife, Gay, her name is Gay Baker, a sweet girl, but he abuses her. So he puts his leg on my girl's, he puts his hand on my girl's leg and say, you want to stop off at my house? And she said, what are you talking about? This is your wife, Gay, right here. And then Gay puts her hand on my other girl's knee and say, it's all right. It'll be all right. Nigga. As soon as Fashay got home, she told me what he had done, and I was pissed. I called him up. I said, Joe, the fuck is wrong with you, man? Why would you do something like that to me? I'm done. And I met his wife, Gay. One more time, I was on Hollywood Boulevard right in front of Man's Chinese Theater, and there was a bus stop there, and I happened to bump into her. And she apologized, saying that he'd been beating her ass and he'd been abusing her and that she couldn't take it no more, and they were going back to Detroit. And that was the last I seen of Joe Baker. I'm pretty sure he lives in Coney Gardens in Detroit because of the alcohol and the abuse. I'm pretty sure even if he's still alive, he's really messed up. So, anyways, I made it to LA. Our first band was Goodfoot. We hated the name, but Don was the one who put us together. Don pissed us off at a point. We let him go, and in came Mike Anderson from Detroit. Rest in peace. He passed away on his birthday, September 22nd. And I'd like to say rest in peace, Michael Anderson, and give my condolences to Tanya, his daughter, Renee, and his son, Daniel. But anyways, we went from Goodfoot to Platinum. That was the name of my group. From Platinum, that broke up, and M3 got together. Me, Michael Anderson, and Tanya Marie Anderson. We were M3. After Mike passed away, I went solo and continued to be independent for the entire time. I've been independent ever since. So guys, I made it. I want to tell you, don't be afraid to strike out for something better. Don't be stuck in a little town, in a small neighborhood. I mean, stay there if you're doing good, but if you're not doing good and you have dreams and you know that those dreams are in a different city or state, don't be afraid to follow your dreams, dog. Because if I wouldn't have left Detroit, if I would have stayed in those crabs in the barrel, I guarantee you, I wouldn't be alive today. And I guarantee you, you wouldn't be watching me right now. So that's the story of my exodus from Detroit to Hollywood. I want to close this video out with my newest video, Mary. Enjoy, guys. And thank you for watching my podcast. This is a really special one for me because this is a really tough, touchy subject. I wouldn't have made it, guys, if I wouldn't have made the trip. Good night, guys.
Mary is the perfect name for you. Mary is the perfect name for you. Oh, I know. Mary is the perfect name for you. You look like an angel. You're heavenly. You. The good book says that Mary was a saint and this was true. But that don't change the fact that I am so in love with you. Mary was a virgin, also pure just like yourself. Since I met you, lady, I don't want nobody else. Every time I see you, my whole heart just skips a beat. Girl, just to behold you, then my sight is such a treat. And just as sure as she was good, I hope I'm not misunderstood. You surely shine just the same. Mary is the perfect name for you, 'cause you look like an angel. You're heavenly. Mary is the perfect name for you, 'cause you look like an angel. You're heavenly. Mary, quite contrary, you're the girl I want to marry. When you're feeling weak, all your problems I will carry. Mary, you're the one to always make me feel so good. We're always having so much fun, and with us it's understood. You don't have to say a word, 'cause I'll be right by your side. You're so fine, you're so absurd. I need you to be my bride, and for your love I surely try. So won't you spread your wings and fly into my arms once again. Oh, Mary is the perfect name for you, 'cause you look like an angel. You're heavenly, Mary. Mary is the perfect name for you, 'cause you look like an angel. You're heavenly. Mary is the perfect name for you, 'cause you look like an angel. You're heavenly. Mary is the perfect name for you. You look like an angel. You're heavenly.